I wish you knew. I'm so glad that retard got knocked out real.
But it's time we get into black and ghetto fatigue. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better.
5 hours ago. Only like 7 months late.
Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. I don't know how this one's gonna be taken, but I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had because I keep seeing this particular phrase or these particular phrases pop up all over the place, and it's black fatigue and ghetto fatigue. And first we have to talk about what these things mean. Okay, so the phrase black fatigue has actually changed over time. Interestingly enough, when you look up the term black fatigue, you're gonna find that it's derived from an author, Mary Frances Winters, and her book titled Black Fatigue: How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit. And the term was originally used to describe the feeling that black people have in facing systemic racism and systemic oppression, a fatigue that only black people...
Black women's message is simple. Stop killing us. Stop killing us.
experience because of their black experience in a Western colonial system. But now you've seen black fatigue taking another direction online, and it's people essentially saying they're tired of black culture, they're tired of ghetto behavior, they're tired of
blacks
behavior, essentially. Now, of course, I'm going to put a disclaimer on this video. Not all black people behave in a way that is later used to justify feeling black fatigue. Not all black people are a
lot of them
engaging in the black culture that we are going to talk about in today's video. But there is a very present issue, I think, that our society is facing right now, and it's leading to things like black or say ghetto fatigue. So we're gonna
Black Lives Matter, Nash the Fash.
And I've seen a number of people do this on YouTube already. Shout out to Amir.
Should I unban Karasu? What do you guys think? Press 1 to unban Karasu today.
Show me those choxy milkies right.
He really rage baited the shit out of me. Did that do anything? What the fuck was that? Why am I logged in? Why is my mod commands not working on Kick now?
Free my lover, Karasu.
Hilton Head Grow Hyper just gifted 1 subscription on Kick.
Alright, I've unbanned Karasu.
Who did a huge video on black fatigue and teen takeovers. I recommend you go and watch that. I'm going to show you some examples of what people are talking about when they say they're experiencing black and ghetto fatigue. This video says, quote, the definition—
Do I have Karu banned in my chat? Whoever that femboy streamer is? I can't remember.
Of you can't take black people anywhere. 650,000 likes on that, with people just getting down in a restaurant filled with tons of people on a packed night where people are trying to work. Here's another one. In Houston, the gas station is the after hours spot, meaning this is happening late at night at a Houston gas station.
The hood fit today. It's Friday in the hood fit.
So you hear loud music playing.
That was crazy though, when Karu had the fucking... Dude, that's crazy that he was a BBC addict. And you guys were all simping for him as well.
Somebody saying we're out here in the hood, period.
You guys are still simping for him. You're sub to a BBC addict.
Here's another one from ABC News 7. Hundreds of teens take over Chicago neighborhood.
Beardson Beaverly Community Addict.
Now I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Some say, I'm tired of this. Some say, well, well, well. And essentially they're going, well, 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 I know exactly who the people are who are gonna be responsible for this sort of behavior. And it's actually a pop culture reference, which I won't get into right now.
Well.
There's a lot of levels to this, and I don't even know that I can unpack all of this in an entire video. It's going to take maybe multiple parts to get.
No, it won't. Black people be wildin'. It's because their low IQs is why.
Down to the bottom of all this, but we're going to start today. Another person writes, fatigue is real with a broken heart. We're going to get into another video. This one shows a bunch of people populating in a burger spot. So over and over again, it seems to be the same story. A ton of people getting together, a ton of, it seems, really young Black people, loud music, screaming, congregating in areas where you probably aren't supposed to be congregating, where people are trying to do their jobs, where others are trying to get things done and lead their normal lives. And a lot of people are attributing this to Black people and Black culture because that's who they're seeing in these spaces. And it's then leading to the phrase Black fatigue being shared.
But it's really because of the parents and the culture. If you think about it, it doesn't have anything to do with Black people.
All over the internet. And this expands far beyond the teen takeover.
Even though the Black parents who are fucking over their kids are Black, and Black culture was created by Black people, obviously, but you know.
And the mobs and
it's still not their fault if you think about it.
Street hangouts and parties. People are now looking at other parts of Black culture or what they believe to be Black culture and saying they're fatigued with that as well. One of the things they're saying is part of Black culture that they're fatigued with is the dependence on government and popping out a bunch of kids. And if you haven't seen this, I'll show some examples. This TikTok says, I received a letter saying I make too much to get food stamps. I have 12 kids. How?
Yeah, so I just got a damn notification from Department of Children and Families, because y'all know they do the my food stamp case. They sent me a damn letter. First of all, I thought it was a letter because I did let them know that I did not want to do, I want to do paper notifications instead of email notifications because that's how I forgot to recertify. They're gonna send me a letter saying that I make too much. My household income is too much, so they won't even qualify me anymore for EBT.
It's over.
How in the f***? And I got
Hey Warwicks, how's it going? I feel weird talking to you. Are you back? You fucking asshole? Sorry, damn it. I shouldn't have talked to him. Fuck. Fuck. It's so hard for me to be nice to people. That's crazy. Why did I say that to him? But, so, you know, what I haven't seen you around.
How did 12 kids get into the picture? One of the top comments on this video. Raise your hand if you're tired of this. Let's move on to the next video.
We've missed you. Whatever.
This one says, they done took all the sweets from food stamps. Finna have to trade a pack of chicken for Lil Debbie snacks.
They have taken all the sweets off of SNAP benefits. Y'all, we are about to be passing out packs of chicken in exchange for Little Debbie snack cakes. I promise y'all it'll be worth.
She's starving. Look at her. Look at this starving baby.
It. I'm gonna get y'all the organic grass-fed chicken.
And guess what, guys? I'm gonna keep going. This next one. White people making babies versus Black people making babies.
Yo, one thing I never understood is when white people be like, yeah, we're trying for a baby. We're trying for a baby. You know, we've been trying for years. We just trying and that's just one thing I never understood. Like, cause in our community, it's just like,
watch you tell,
it's like this bitch just keep getting pregnant.
A lot of these videos are shocking. I can't say that they're necessarily surprising because I think a lot of us, if we're being honest, can look at certain parts of the Black community and recognize that these issues are running rampant throughout these parts of the community. And it's become one of those things.
Yeah, dude, me and Kamash have been trying for a baby for like a year now, and it still hasn't happened. I don't know what the problem is, if I'm being completely honest. It's just like crazy. Like we might have to go to a doctor or something. I'm getting kind of worried.
Where you can't necessarily talk about it because you'll be labeled as a bigot or a racist for saying these are things that have been attributed to Black culture. And now the Black people are taking on and essentially saying this is our culture and this is how we are. And of course, there are people who act in these ways that are not Black. But when you look at this behavior.
Yo, new Yondir. Whoa. New Yondir post. Wow. Beardson turned this down. Can you imagine? What a fitting song too. She's in Kentucky. She is in Kentucky. She is going to track down. Well, she's already Dalton fucking sent her Beardson's address, so she's on the way. I'm certain. Filming from Beardson's bathroom. Let's go. That's awesome, dude.
There does seem to be a particular pattern of black people and young black people at
She was
that.
asking people for money for Waffle House a few days ago. Yeah, I mean, she's on a road trip. She had to drive all the way from Texas to Kentucky, and now she's living out of a motel room half a mile away from where Beardson lives, making her plan for her final solution to the Beardson question.
Engaging in this way. And we're going to talk about why that takes place, not just the reaction to it and the idea of being fatigued with black culture. We're also going to talk about the fact that this was not black culture in the past. Black culture is something that is shifted and taken on many different forms. And it's very interesting that some black people want to hold on to these sorts of acts, behaviors, and tendencies and call them black culture. Guys, you know I've dealt with my fair share of stalkers and scammers online. Your girl is no stranger to those experiences, which is why I'm excited to announce today's sponsor, Incogni Custom Removal, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. But first, let's keep laying out what people are seeing. So we got through kids and the dependency on government and welfare systems that we have set in place.
I think she is a TPUSA girl. Am I crazy? Is she TPUSA? I don't know.
Place in our country. Let's talk about how these children are acting. Here's a video on TikTok that says we gotta save our children.
We gotta save our children.
What y'all?
We gonna put their ass. We gonna put their ass.
What y'all
My
gonna do?
sister gonna cut their ass. We gonna mute their ass. We got ops right here. No, we got real ops. We got ops around here.
Y'all got
We got real ops.
So for those of you who do not understand what these kids are saying, they're saying things like, we're gonna pop their ass, we're gonna shoot people, essentially. They're saying we have ops out here, which if you don't know what that means, they're saying they have enemies in their community, and that's why they are armed with toy guns to shoot their toy enemies, I guess, and the other little kids who are running around in these neighborhoods who are their ops. Let's keep watching.
We got real ops. We got real ops. Before I blow, I'm gonna blow. Before I blow, before I leave, I gotta blow all this.
I'm gonna pray for you. You hear me, my boy?
Pray. All around with a
Crazy.
And it's so crazy to watch these videos because you know that these kids are going to grow up and keep emulating this behavior.
Hey, dude. Jake Break. Thanks, man. I'm Kamasta is a boy. That's the joke. Go. Bro's trying to help me out. Dude, Kamasta's a boy, okay? The reason that I haven't been able to impregnate Kamasta is because I've been nutting in his ass, gay style, femboy style, straight style, okay? So that's probably the biggest problem, not the fertility cycle tracking.
But in far more serious ways than maybe what you see displayed in these videos. You have ballet teachers, kindergarten teachers saying that kids are showing up to class.
But I will start tracking his fertility cycles. Don't you worry about that.
To listen to rap music, wanting to dance to Sexy Red and Meg the Stallion, and I mean like 5-year-old ballet classes. That's what people are dealing with in some of these communities. And I've already shown you videos of the teen.
How do you know if you haven't tried? I'm trying. Hey, there is no lack of trying, okay? If it's possible to get him pregnant, I will find out, okay? We're trying.
Takeovers that are happening in places like Chicago, Houston, Atlanta.
It was trad. It was Alex Jones style. It was Blair White style.
Where black teens are getting together to the tune of hundreds, if not thousands of them. And
I thought you were telling us about your infertility. Yeah, I know. I felt like I had to clear that up. I don't want to actually people to start thinking that about me. Wow, damn, I just feel so bad for Wurzelroot. He's really just been trying to breed, but he can't breed.
Punk fucking rocks, dude.
Boom,
Hilton Head Groiper just gifted 1
boom,
subscription on
boom.
Deciding particular places, establishments that they're going to show up and essentially create mobs. And in these mobs, there's loud music, there's screaming, there's often violence, sometimes shootings. It's getting out of hand. And when you watch videos like the little kids I just showed you, it's very easy to figure out how they may end up at some of these teen takeovers and in other horrible positions within these communities. It affects their personal lives and their growing up, their coming of age stories, but it also affects all the people who are living in these communities with these teens and with these young people. And it's
I mean, it's like the parents' fault. The parents, they won't stop. You know, that's like the most infuriating thing is that there isn't actually, like, you can't like educate black people out of this. You know, dude, sorry, I like got blackpilled earlier today because I saw another one of those fucking smoke detector videos where like you know, like the fact that smoke detectors are still a thing where black people still haven't like had a moment of like embarrassed withdrawal to go replace their smoke alarms, the batteries in their smoke alarms. That's like the craziest thing to me, because like it's become like a worldwide well-known meme that like black people don't change their smoke alarms, and that's where the beeping comes from, you know? And still, in every single video of a black person, you will hear the chirping happening in the background, despite the fact that everybody knows about this now, that they are constantly like getting made fun of. I made a post about this on Twitter, and there's black people in my mentions like getting pissed at me and being like, "Oh, well, you know, you're just a racist." It's like, dude, change your fucking smoke alarm. Seriously. Like literally, like it's not even like a racist moment that I'm having anymore. It's like, can you literally not just do that? Can you not just like take the L and fucking replace your smoke alarm? I actually think it's driving them crazy, but it's like this thing too. My entire childhood growing up, people were like trying their hardest to like criticize the way that these black kids, I've heard nonstop from like girls like her, right? Who are like, I'm black and I gotta say the black community, we need to worry more about raising our children. It's like, dude, the children are getting worse and worse. Like in this video, like you can see them, they're getting worse and worse. These kids are all nothings. And it's fucked up or whatever, but they're 7. They're gonna be fucking dead by 14, or they're gonna kill somebody by 14. Okay? It's just forever. It's never stops, despite how much people talk about it, how much attention is brought to it, just like the smoke alarm. They will never fix themselves. They are just a factory churning out more and more crime forever. And violence and intimidation. And people overlook intimidation too. You know, but that's like one of these like these intangible aspects of standard of living. The idea that you can walk down your street without being intimidated, or that you could travel anywhere in the country without being intimidated. And obviously it's not a crime to stand intimidatingly, but black people love doing that. They love trying to intimidate people. They love getting into your personal space. They love being loud and threatening in public. And it just brings the whole country down. And you can see it even in that Tyler Olveria video we were watching. They all just do it instantly. They instantly go to intimidation. And it's like, oh man. We really just have to live like this forever? We have to live like this forever. And there's no signs of any improvement. Nice. They do it to cops? Yeah. Well, yeah, and we see it in all the cop videos as well. How they try to get up in cops' faces and intimidate them. It's just the worst. It's just really the worst. They're just ignorant and violent, and they're not fixing themselves. It's not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse.
Teen takeovers and in other horrible positions within these communities. It affects their personal lives and their growing up, their coming of age stories, but it also affects all the—
It affects their coming of age stories. Hey, they're raping my country to death and making it into, sorry, I almost said, they're making it into Negro hell, okay? You are turning every city in my country into Negro hell, actually. I don't want to live in Negro hell, okay? Can we stop maybe, ever? Or maybe we can get a bit more stern with how we're talking about this, because my entire life people have been saying this shit. Wow, it's really gonna affect their journeys and their ability to get jobs in the future. They don't have a future. Like, and however fucked up that is, I don't really give a shit. I remember being a kid. I don't actually give a shit. I thought this stuff as a kid too. They don't have a future. They're gonna be dead by 15. Or kill somebody and be on the track to jail by 15, okay? All of those kids are fucking hoodlums, okay? They're all bad. They're all bad eggs, and they're all already ruined. They're clearly stupid, and they're clearly violent. And they have idealized a culture, in addition to their violent stupidity, they have idealized a culture that is entirely based around the violent stupidity of the culture, okay? They're like basically animals, and we are just like, they're here now, and they're gonna keep producing more of themselves. The fucked up part is they'll probably have 5 kids by the time they're 15 too.
I have a bright idea.
Just keep the cycle going forever.
And Dominicans into the equation.
Bro.
The people who are living in these communities with these teens and with these young people, and it's no wonder a lot of them are screaming out lack fatigue. Now, when it comes to the effect that you're having on other people's lives within the society that we're all trying to coexist in with one another, I think a great example of this is trying to go shopping and having all the different products that you're trying to—
Boom! Hilton Head Groiper.
Hilton Head Groiper just gifted 1 subscription on Kick.
purchase as somebody who is trying to live their life locked up behind glass. This is something that I experience all the time living in LA. It is very interesting how you can go into certain communities where everything is open and you're able to shop freely, and others—
Did you know anybody who did a murder? Anybody in chat? Anybody? You guys ever know somebody who did a murder? I did.
where things are locked up. And even
not after. I only knew him before.
When we get down to the items that are locked up, you can see there's particular issues with particular communities. I'll explain.
This is $3.80. This is $11. This is $3. This is $11. Do you see the logic at Walmart? Okay, just
Isn't that kind of weird? Dude, it was so weird. It was so weird. I remember him. I remember him because he looked like Jesus, unironically. He was like a real hippie guy that I went to high school with, and I remember I hung out with him at PE, and then like I hung out with him at PE, and he had a beard, a full Jesus beard, and he looked like Jesus. And I literally remember thinking to myself, like I would like jokingly call him Jesus because that's what he looked like. And then like a year later, bro was sentenced to life imprisonment because he went out to like a party or something and just fucking killed a kid that was there.
Make sure everybody sees the logic.
Now this is a white
And it was like straight up too, like he like stabbed him like 40 times. It was like a huge thing.
And trying to shop at Walmart. She notices that a $3 skincare product is locked up.
Champagne but still look thirsty. Rock forever 21 but just turned 30.
I know I got a bad reputation.
Walk around always mad reputation. Leave a pretty girl sad reputation. Start a fight club, bad reputation. I turned the nightclub out of the basement. I turned the paint around your ass, keep complaining.
How you gon' be mad on vacation?
Dirty wine around all these Jamaicans. That's that prom shit. This that what we do, don't tell your mom shit. Alright, sorry.
Up and needs security.
One of his worst popular songs? Yeah, because you're stupid. You're like a dumb person, basically. So we're just gonna take your opinion and throw it in the garbage. You're just a dumb piece of shit. No, Bound is really good, actually.
In order for you to purchase it, but an $11 or $12 sunscreen is not locked up. I have to ask, who's buying sunscreen? What's the racial demographic of a person buying sunscreen? Can we have the conversation? Okay, here's another video where somebody says you go to Target in Fordham for the first time and everything is locked up.
The ghetto.
Interestingly enough, the audio says, ooh, the ghetto. Another one, everything is locked up in PG Mall. My God.
Yo, I am literally at a Target in another neighborhood, and I kid you not, like everything is locked up. Everything is locked up. Everything is locked up.
Why is it that you're in a Target in another neighborhood, and what is the racial makeup of that neighborhood, and could that explain why things are locked up? And we've seen other videos where people go into stores and they're looking at things like foundation and makeup products and finding that those of darker skin tones are locked behind glass, while lighter foundations are free for people to purchase at any moment they want to. They don't need to call an employee in order to grab a certain product. Why? Because products with darker complexions or that service a darker complexion are being stolen more than lighter ones. And I have to say, as a mixed person myself, it is so embarrassing to have to go out into your community and try to shop, try to be a normal person living in society, and you have to eventually, I guess, have a chaperone to just do the shopping that you need to do in a regular store. And when we talk about issues like racial profiling,
high key, when I see somebody trying to make me not steal something, it makes me want to steal it. You know what I mean? Am I crazy?
or being judged or having to have a chaperone when you're trying to shop at a store, can we at all be surprised? And this is the reality. You have people who are choosing not to abide by the law, impacting those that do. So now my experience and the experience of so many other people changes because of people who don't want to follow the rules and people who don't want to engage in society in the way that everybody else has agreed to. And what this creates is communities that I will call high risk, low trust, where it feels risky just to walk out of your front door and try to be around normal people, or try to go to a restaurant, or you feel like you're going to be judged for looking the way you look.
You ever steal anything? No. But if I did, but in an alternate universe where I did, it would be because they made me check myself out. And honestly, that's not my job. I never stole anything, but if I'm getting paid $0.00 to do a job that used to be a cashier's job, I'm not qualified for that position, actually. I'm pretty bad at being a cashier. I never went to cashier college. I wasn't trained for this position, and I'm not being compensated for it, so I'm not a very good employee, actually.
Because how other people who look like you behave. Low trust means there's not as much freedom. Nobody's trusting you to actually engage in the way that they would engage. And it creates so many barriers to just experiencing life in the way that others get to experience it. Here's a great video example.
Look how freaking cute this is. I was on my walk and I saw this little sign with all these little flowers. So I went home and grabbed some money. And now I'm gonna put some money in.
I did because a cashier was talking to a female coworker for 5 minutes instead of checking me out. Yeah, that's like a totally W steal moment, is to just leave when the employees are ignoring you. Meow, indeed.
Take a little flower thing. How cute is this? Got myself some flowers. These are so freaking cute.
That is freaking cute. But let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all know what the question is going to be, but here we go. I'm going to ask the question. How long does a place like that or a stand like that...
Wait, what happened? I wasn't paying attention.
These are so freaking cute.
That is freaking cute. But let me ask you...
Walk out of your front...
I couldn't see it. It was so tiny.
Other people engage, creates that others get to experience it. Here's a great video example.
Look how freaking cute this is. I was on my walk and I saw this little sign with all these little flowers. So I went home and grabbed some money, and now I'm gonna put some money in and take a little flower thing. How cute is this? Got myself some flowers. These are so freaking cute.
That is freaking cute. But let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all know what the question is going to be, but here we go. I'm going to ask the question. How long does a place like that or a stand like that last in Atlanta?
0
now,
seconds.
y'all won't ask the question, so I ask the fucking question. How long would a stand like that last in Memphis? How long would a stand like that last in Detroit? How long would a stand like that last in Chicago on the South Side? How long?
These are questions that we have to start having answers to. And the interesting thing is, nobody could speak and answer this guy's question, but we all would know what the answer is. These stands and things could not exist in these areas because they wouldn't last. Nobody would be trusted to go home, put a little bit of money in a jar and then take these flowers at their own discretion. And I see these things in being in different neighborhoods. You go to predominantly white places or white shopping centers, and sometimes they'll have stands with fruit or snacks or baked goods. And it essentially says, I trust you, put in $5 and take whatever you want. And you see a jar full of money and people who are going and buying these goods without any attendant, any cashier, anybody to keep things secure. Could you see the same in some of the areas that he mentioned in this video? No. And just one more example to drive this home. I could go on and on with all the different ways in which this impacts us, and we could break down all the minutia of this, but I'll stick to things that I've just personally experienced and conversations that I've actually been having recently with friends and people in my community. I know a lot of people who are servers here in LA, and whether we want to have this conversation or not,
it would be pretty weird to be from the crime race. I understand why it's hard for them to acknowledge this, but you know, you gotta.
Every single server that I've spoken to in this city says that they are not interested in,
you know, because like I've lived in neighborhoods that have the exact same thing, like not necessarily even flowers, but like you know, there's always those like book things, you know, the public take one, leave one, or whatever the fuck books, and all that shit. Like, I've seen so many things similar just in my own neighborhoods, and it's like it's just, yeah, man, there's like two planets in America. There's white America and then there's brown America. Not to be too fucking base, not to be too shutted out, but it's like genuinely like, yeah, it is crazy, man. And I actually had like a boomer. I was talking about this when I was starting stream the other day. I saw a black person in my neighborhood, and it's a white neighborhood, and he was being led into my fucking domain by this round bitch, this like 40-year-old, like 400-pound white lady was walking in the middle of the road with this black guy, and I fucking honked at him as I went by, and I gave him the finger. And that's a real story. And I was literally just like thinking to myself, I was like, why the fuck is he here, dude? You know, what's going on? Why is this guy walking in the middle of my fucking road? And like genuinely, anyway, that's just a racist moment that I had. But like seriously, it was like I had my first like boomer white flight moment where I was just like, is this neighborhood going to shit, dude? Like I was like, what is it? There's black people here now? I thought this was like a nice place. I thought this was safe.
Serving predominantly black tables and customers. Now, this comes off as a racist, bigoted conversation, but is it in fact that when we look into how people of these cultural backgrounds engage when they go out to restaurants? Show you a video.
Our own servers are afraid of us, y'all. They don't even want to come to the table no more. Way she didn't come back in to check on us, but she was ever so present for that white family. Was looking at us like, y'all not finna drive me cat raggedy for no tip. Talking about why are my wings fried hard. Asked for plastic silverware. My food ain't cooked all the way. Even though I ate it, I want a whole nother one, but I also want a refund because it's not what I wanted in the first place.
Now, for those of you who didn't catch what she said black people are coming into restaurants. They're demanding for their food to be cooked in a very particular way. They want things like plastic forks and knives because they don't trust the restaurant cutlery that is given to them when they're served. When they get food, many of these people are acting like they got the wrong food or they don't like the food in order to get services comped and the food comped and to have their bill lowered. And then when it gets to a tip, which typically in America people are expecting 20% tip, these people are not tipping, or when they tip,
they're just sorry. I'm like just getting I'm trying so hard not to just chut out every 5 seconds and have like a racist moment. And there's like no substance beyond me being racist, but it's like seriously, it's like you are civilizational parasites who just exist to lower the standard of living, and it's like crazy, and like everybody hates you, and like you refuse to ever change your ways. It's like so insane, is it not? And it's only getting worse. They're only getting bolder and worse. It's just insane, man.
They tip very, very low. Even the black servers that I know are looking around and going, I do not want to serve black tables. Why? Like, don't even get me started on what's going on in the Red Lobsters and the Applebee's. I saw a video the other day of 3 young black girls who were just devastating their local Wendy's over a biggie bag, throwing drinks at the servers, throwing food at the servers, trying to bust down the window. It's getting ridiculous. And it is just devastating to me that this is being attributed to black people in totality when it is not.
Oh, no. Yeah, so true. So true. Oh, frick, dude. Frick. I forgot about that. It's just being attributed to black people, but actually it's only 80% of them. Fuck.
Black people in totality, and we're gonna get to at the end of this video, black people who are over black people themselves, and they're feeling black fatigue, and they're over this like ghetto behavior. Now that we sort of laid out the issue and people's responses to it.
Okay, like the thing, like I get it. Like you're one of the good ones or whatever, you know, just to speak candidly here. I went to a really nice school. It was up class, 95% white, okay? We had like 3 Asians and like fucking 5 black, or like 3 black people, I think, in my grade when I was in high school. And all of the black kids who went to my high school, they were the sons and daughters of like wealthy blacks, usually military blacks, who went to the military. They did 20 years in the military, and then they retired from the military and started their own businesses, right? So like literally like top of the top echelon black people. Out of the 3 black kids who are in my grade, one of them was a girl, and I never heard from her again. She hit on me. She was black women are into me. I was fat in high school, and she was into me. I thought that was crazy. I've been saying this. I can always tell how fat I am based on the race of women who hit on me. When I'm at my fattest, black bitches love me. Black bitches love me fat. They love chunky fat words. When I'm in between fat and thin, Mexican bitches are into me hardcore. I was getting groped so much when I was only like 30 pounds overweight. The Mexican bitches at TSA were grabbing my dick, like straight up, like literally straight up grabbing my dick. It was crazy. The real story. I went to go live in Italy. It was right after I'd lost. it was in college, right after I'd lost weight, and I was probably only 20-30 pounds overweight. I went through TSA, and this bitch grabbed my fucking hog through my pants straight up, and then felt my balls. And I didn't say anything, you know, because thanks for that. Actually, I appreciate the attention. Anyway, and then it happened like 3 more times on every flight that I went on. Anyway, literally, seriously. And then when I'm at my thinnest, white bitches are into me. What was I talking about? Oh, anyway, there's this black girl in high school. She flirted with me. I liked that. I wore a suit one time. She was in the band with me. She was actually really bad. She was in the band with me. I wore a suit to one of our band concerts. I played the saxophone. She played the saxophone. And she said, "Wow, you look really nice in your suit." And I was like, Thank you, I know. Anyway. So she didn't do anything. She was a nice lady. She went off to college or whatever. But so that was one of the 3 black people in my grade in high school. The 2 others, 2 black guys, one of them got arrested in high school for selling drugs. He dropped out of high school and then got arrested for selling drugs. And then the other black guy robbed a store. Got 20 years for armed robbery, and when he was out on bail for his trial, he robbed another store. He robbed a liquor store. So he's imprisoned for the rest of my life, probably. So 2 out of 3 of the black kids who I was in high school with, who were born to these like upper class top 1% black families, they were in jail within 2 years of high school ending. So it's like there is an IQ return to mean, and then there is also like a fucked culture that pushes black people. And the thing is too, the blacks that I was in high school with, despite being only 3 kids out of, you know, a 200 person class, they were always self-isolated. They were always identifying with blackness and with black culture, and they were always tripping the fuck out and you know, pushing all this like race bait shit and like seething and all of that and talking about racism. And they were out and they're both in jail within 2 years of graduating high school. So it's like there's just like thinking about that makes me like despondent that there's like genuinely like no hope and there's like no way to fix these people.
And I think a common bit of
because like even if there is like an uber successful black couple that's like top of the line, best practices, just like, you know, pillar of the community, their kids are going to want to be rappers and fucking gangbangers because that's what being black in America is all about. And maybe they don't even have the IQ that their parents had, and then they're gonna run around cooking people and getting sent to jail for dumb shit.
Back is, why are you talking about this through the lens of race? Why is it black culture? Why are we calling it black fatigue? There are people other than black people who act in this way. And that is fair. Although I think we've already laid out that there's a particular pattern and a particular intensity at which this appears in the black community.
There's only one black kid in my elementary school. He peed at the urinal with his pants down around his ankles. That's kind of base, man. Feels good, man.
And that's why people are framing this as black culture and black fatigue. Another issue is
I remember seething about that in kindergarten, dude. There's this kid named Michael. I've talked about him before. He was a theater kid. He grew up to be a theater kid. He was always on Team Girl. He was always like not even simping for women, but all of his friends were girls. You know what I mean? And he was always like talking shit on boys, and I hated him for that. But I remember he'd always do that at the fucking urinal. I wonder if he was gay. I don't think he was gay. He was like one of those guys who acts gay as fuck, but then like fucks women. And is on Team Girl all the time and wears pink. And I remember in kindergarten or whatever, and elementary school, bro would always do that. He'd always drop his pants around his ankles, and I'd like walk. And when I was going to elementary school, we'd get like, you know, 10-minute piss breaks or whatever. You couldn't just leave and roam the hallways on your own. So like the whole class would go to the bathroom at the same time. And bro would go to the bathroom, would be like 10 of us in there, and he'd just drop his fucking pants. And I'd be like sitting there looking at bro's ass. Like, what the fuck, man?
Black people are sort of gatekeeping these particular behaviors and these particular aspects of their community and saying that this is blackness. And if you fall outside of these behavioral mindsets, you are labeled as—
I was waiting in line. And he got his ass out, dude. Like, what?
Acting white or having internalized racism or white supremacy. Because this is a larger idea, I'm going to break it down with a few very unique examples. There was a trend that took place online called the quarter zip and matcha trend.
You had bathrooms in class? That's crazy.
Some of you may have picked up on this. It was a trend where black men in particular were saying, we're going to abandon some of the clothing styles that are attached to blackness and black culture, and we're going to start wearing quarter zips and matchas. We're going to start dressing like the finance bros that are walking on Wall Street. Essentially what they're saying is we're going to start dressing for success. Really nothing more than that. We're going to start dressing in a way that brings about a better look as far as society is concerned. Now, here's a black woman responding to this trend and saying that it is actually internalized whiteness.
Like, maybe I'm too woke, but I don't find the quarter zip shit funny because I also didn't find it funny a couple years ago when all those black men put on suits and then stood around in suits. I don't understand what men in general, but especially black men's obsession is with defining themselves by their clothing and not really actively doing any. It's not deeper than just like, well, we can put on suits. I can also put on a suit. What is the point that you're trying to make here? Like, it's like costume. Like, let's—
The point is that you're ratchet ass, ghetto ass, fat ass.
Dress up as the social idea of success or productivity or decent, productive human being. I don't know. I don't even understand what y'all are trying to communicate to us. Y'all are constantly like essentially dressing up as white men. Like, that's kind of the underlying idea. Suits, quarter zips, like associating yourself with this like stereotypically white style.
Like your hair? Yeah, I know.
Hello?
Sorry, banger. Just like that, come my way.
This is my way. Do it like that and I repeat it. Don't be scared, ain't afraid. Just like that, come my way. Yeah, I said do that, baby, all night long. And I'ma turn off all my phones. You know I hate it when I'm left on red. But they make it all up in the bed. And it take me, I'm down and on none but the best. He got off-white, on right. Damn, he could dress, making plans from the east. Making bands in the west. Rockstar, black beetle type. Bands on his bread.
Damn.
Oh.
Who said that suits were for white people? Who said that quarter zips were for white people? And that matchas were for white people? And of course we draw these lines in sensing.
Dude, it's real. It's real. Whenever I get fat, whenever I'm at my fattest, black bitches are all over me. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's real. It's real. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I'm cute. I think it's because I look cute. I look younger when I'm fat. I look like a chubby little boy, and they're like, damn, white boy, you cute though.
In patterns, and you do see predominantly white people or white men in particular dressing in these ways and acting in these ways. But just because a black man chooses to then engage with that part culturally.
I told that story already, the time I got a haircut. I swear to you, it was supposed to be like a 20-minute haircut. And I was there for like an hour and a half with this bitch just like giving me a scalp massage. This black lady giving me a scalp massage in college. She washed my hair. I didn't even ask for anything. I kept being like, I just wanted a haircut. And she's like, nah, don't you worry. I'm doing this. You don't have to pay for none of this. It's part of the bundle. That's what she said. It's part of the bundle. And I was like, what? I like low-key thought I was getting scammed. And she washed my hair. She cut my hair, washed my hair. She did the hot towels. She rubbed my shoulders. She was just like rubbing my head and rubbing my scalp and playing with my hair. And, like, yeah. And just complimenting my hair and
dress in that way culturally does not mean that he's in fact trying to be white. And if you don't think this runs deeper than a TikTok video, I'm going to bring up some interesting research that was done by none other than Roland Fryer and Paul Torelli. Now, Roland Fryer I spoke about on this channel before. He was a Harvard professor. He had a very tumultuous career because of a lot of the things that he was studying. But he did an empirical analysis on acting white. And he actually found that within low-income, predominantly black communities, what would happen is that as black kids started to achieve academically, started to raise their standards and perform better within education, they were labeled as acting white, and they became far less popular within their respective communities and with their friends and peers. Now, when they stepped out of these communities into places of different economic statuses and of different racial makeups, this idea of acting white essentially disappeared. People were not making this accusation against other students. They were not treated in a similar fashion for being successful and for achieving academically. And beyond that, we have to acknowledge the fact that this is not always what black culture was. And with that, I'm going to get into this video that sort of spawned this entire idea for me.
Wonder why so many people recoil away from us. They don't recoil away from us because of the color of our skin. That's foolish.
Well, you'd be surprised. There's a smell too.
They recoil away from us because our culture sucks.
Oh, brother. Oh, we're on cope hours now. We're snorting copium right now. That's awesome, dude.
And I know that's a lot for a lot of people to take in because we're supposed to be nice. We live in a very PC culture, but you're not going to get that from me.
I'm not woke, okay? Our culture is fricked up, okay? Wow, thank you. Thank you. 6% does 50%, and you're willing to say that there's something wrong with the culture. That's fucking hardcore, dude.
Culture, black culture sucks. It just does. Nobody wants to live around it. We have to look at how black culture has so put an impression in people's minds that's something.
Let me guess, poverty's also a problem, do you think?
They want to get away from and not something that they want to be associated with. It's 100% cultural. The fact is, black culture today is in such shams that it causes people to recoil away from it. Before the 1960s, the man to aspire to be in the black community was the pastor, the entrepreneur, and the father. Those were the three.
Wow.
What we've managed to do since the 60s, going into the 70s, there was something called blaxploitation films. Blaxploitation films were films that glorified things that used to be taboo in black culture, namely pimping, hustling, drug selling, being a degenerate. They glorified all these things in the 70s films. And it wasn't something that the whites or the Jews were doing to us. No, you have black actors who are all too willing to play the part. As you get into the 80s, into the 90s, you have the introduction of gangster rap, and you have...
Damn. It's just that you guys got tricked into doing the things that you guys are already doing.
The introduction of all these things.
Unironically, it's like, I feel like the better argument would be that desegregation raped the black community. That's where I keep going, you know? Like, I genuinely think that is like... I think that is the better cope that I would agree with more. Like, no, and not even for like the based racist, like just the economic argument that like it was like a shock. It was like a fucking shock, dude. Straight up. No, because when they had to have a parallel society to white people, they had to have services for their parallel society, right? You know, like until 1965, you know, there was like blacks and black society, and then there was whites and then white society, right? And then 1965 happens. We're not allowed to, you know, we're not allowed to discriminate anymore. White businesses now serve black people. White businesses now hire black people. White businesses are now open to black people. And believe it or not, what happened is that black people stopped going to black businesses and they started continuing going to white businesses. Like tons of black businesses went out of business. Tons of black-owned businesses. Black society was cooked because they suddenly had to compete with white people. Believe it or not, it was a blessing that black businesses did not have to compete with white businesses for black populations and black consumers, okay? And like, I think it did have like a shock effect on them. And it fucked up their economy pretty badly. And I think it led to like a downward spiral of poverty.
Which are leaning heavy into this degenerate...
JLP told us these trucs.
Culture. If you look
I don't think that's all of it, but I think that's more significant than blaxploitation films.
Black and white photos from the 40s of black families and white families. You see no distinguishable difference. They dress the same, they look the same, they walk the same, they take care of their families the same, everything's the same. There's no emphasis on being black and being separate and being different. You don't get that until the 70s with the say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, this kind of black culture.
He's saying the uncomfortable part out loud, that not only do people not want to engage in this behavior, they don't want to be around people who are engaging in this behavior. And instead of having a conversation about that, I think we sort of deflect and stop people from taking accountability. We blame others, we blame whiteness, we blame racism. Sometimes when you look at lower income communities who are struggling with these issues, and maybe white people or higher income people or differently educated individuals move into these communities, we call it gentrification. When those people can no longer withstand living in those communities and they leave because this behavior is taking place, we call that white flight. And an important part of this discussion is that black culture was not always like this, as he stated in that video, but that it also doesn't have to continue to be like this. We can work our way out of this. And where I could go 1,000 more directions in this video, and as I said before, I will probably need a part 2. I will close out this video with black people who are also experiencing black and ghetto fatigue, because I think this can so often be packaged as white people judging black people or white supremacy or big.
I don't think we're on this time anymore. I don't think anyone cares. Did I do that? Dude, nobody is worried about being racist anymore, honestly. She's very behind the times, I think. White people don't really give a shit like that anymore. Sky, you know. Sky, you know. And the beautiful big titty butt naked women just don't fall at the sky, you know. Tell me how, you know. I've been searching high and low.
And I can tell you one thing, beautiful big titty but naked women just don't fall out the sky, you know. Is it how you